The Axis 5mm and the new 5.0 from Easton, both 5mm shafts. But what are the key differences and which one should you opt for? Let's talk about it. All right guys, welcome back to the channel. Zach and JR here with Extreme Outfitters, your #1 stop for all things archery and bow hunting. And today we're talking about the 5mm lineup from Easton, right? 5mm, probably the #1 diameter that we sell. And Easton has had the Axis 5mm in the lineup for a long time, and they've recently introduced the new 5.0, which has been, honestly, very high demand.
It has been.
For a long time. So we're going over the key differences and which one is maybe right or the correct arrow choice for you. So getting into it, me and JR both have a lot of experience with the Easton lineup, I think, in general.
Yes.
Me so more in the Axis 5mm side of things. The Axis 5mm has been my go-to arrow for a long time for just about everything. And I've recently started shooting the new 5.0 and I've honestly been very impressed with it. So JR, as far as experience goes, you have experience, I mean, honestly, with all of the different arrows.
I do, even from the target line all the way through their hunting line, going from standard diameter all the way down to the 4mm. I've been shooting them for a long time. I've mainly gravitated more towards the 4mm over the last few years. I really like how the smaller diameter, and it helps a lot with long distance shooting and also that penetration too. So that's why I was a really big fan of it. And then I also started shooting the 5.0 this year as well. And so far I've been very impressed with it.
I think we both have. And I think that's a general consensus across the board for most people that have introduced that arrow to either their hunting setup or their target setup, especially for tack. We saw a lot of them out there.
We did.
But let's go ahead and talk about and kind of compare the specs of the two, right? So both of these arrows are made here in the United States with Easton's seamless AccuCarbon process, right? So they're able to control weight and spine very consistently from dozen to dozen. So what does that mean? Whenever you go and you buy, let's say, a dozen now, and then a few months, a year later, you buy another dozen, they should be very, very consistent. That's one of Easton's big things. Right. The way they manufacture arrows is honestly incredible.
It is, it really is. I'd love to go out to the facility sometime and actually tour it. It'd be awesome.
And when we look at it, obviously these are both a 5mm diameter, right? That's why we're talking about them. Some of the questions that we've got in the comments is why would I shoot one over the other? So again, comparing 5mm. When you look at it, when we look at spine options, they both go from 200 to 500. The Axis does have that 600 spine option. From there, we've got straightness again. Easton has gone to, they have their match grade, which is their 1000s, and then they have their 3000 straightness. I believe those are the two options now.
Yes.
I think they've gone away from the sport for this particular these arrows, which the sport was,
I believe it's a 5000s straightness or better.
Right. So you got the match grade or the non-match grade option with both of these shafts. From there, when we talk about inserts, what are the insert options that we've got for both of these?
So the ones that we stock are coming with your standard hit insert. It's an aluminum insert which weighs, I believe, 16 grains.
Correct.
And then on the Pro Series or the match grades, they have the collar that you can add on to as well. That's a ballistic collar. It's going to help protect the front of the arrow a little bit better. It does,
and it does add a little bit of weight. So depending on the diameter or the spine that you go with, it's going to add an additional, I believe, 13 to 21 grains to the front of that arrow.
Yes, and then other options you have are the match grade half-out system, which is new for this year, and then you also have your stainless and aluminum half-outs as well from the old system. Right.
So the match grade inserts are really nice. They've got that O-ring in them, so when it comes to lining that insert up, once it slides into that shaft, the tolerances are so tight, there's no wobble in it.
Correct. Yeah, that's going to help eliminate any wobble, and also for a better fitment with the arrow system. Then the last option that you have is their brass hit insert, which is either a 50 or 75 grain break-off system.
Which is what I personally am running right now. I think you're running in your current arrow setup, you're using the match grade half-out system,
yes, sir.
Correct?
Yep.
So from there, we're looking at one of the other differences between the two arrows is the actual knock. So the Axis comes with an X knock, which I personally have always liked. I think it's been a very reliable, very consistent and just durable knock. And then the 5.0 comes with the micro light knock,
right,
which the micro light knock, there's supposed to be a little bit of an advantage as far as fitment.
Yes, so it is a little bit taller of a profile knock, so it should actually help a little bit better with steering and fitment with your string.
With your string, correct.
Yeah. and your serving.
And finally, the last part of these, you can get these in either bare shaft options, or you can get them pre-fletched in the AAE hybrid configuration, which honestly, for me, I really like the pre-fletched configuration in the match grade option, just because I personally really like that vane. I typically run a max stealth, and they come with the hybrid, which is virtually the same profile. It's just been a really good vane option for me because I run that 3-fletch typically as well.
Yeah, I do too normally, and the hybrids or the max stealths, it's a great vane to steer for any broadhead or any field point. It's a phenomenal vane.
Absolutely. So when you look at those are the specs. What's the key difference? What's the big difference between the Axis 5mm and the 5.0? And that comes down to grains per inch. When you look at grains per inch based off each spine, the 5.0 is almost 2 to a little over 2 grains lighter per inch versus the Axis 5mm. So that's the big differentiator between the two shafts, is the overall weight of them. So when we look at that, when we talk about 5.0 in general, what's the advantage, or not just the 5.0, excuse me, the 5mm in general, what's the advantage to going to a 5mm shaft?
So really the biggest thing with that is going to be you'll have a little bit better penetration, and also a little bit less wind drift if you're taking some longer shots.
Right. And when you look at building these two arrows, which one should I go with? Should I go with the Axis 5mm with a little bit more overall weight, or should I go with that 5.0 option? And it really comes down to, one, application, and two, what are your goals with your arrow build, right? So for me, I've always shot the Axis 5mm because it's an incredibly durable shaft. That's what the Axis is designed around. It is durability. It is robust. It is just an incredibly tough arrow.
It is.
I mean, we've had these things, I've shot them for a long time. You can repeatedly shoot these arrows, put them on, spin them, and they're consistent. They don't splinter, they don't break, they're just incredibly tough. So that's why I've always kind of run with that arrow. But that is one of the drawbacks as well, right? The overall weight is a lot heavier than a lot of individuals want to run.
Right.
Because again, 2 to 2+ grains per inch more, that's going to add a lot of weight overall. So when it comes to trajectory and whatnot, you might not be able to get quite as light of an arrow that you want to run depending on what you're doing, right? Application, long range shooting. So that was kind of the drawback with that Axis 5mm and the 5mm line for Easton.
Right, yeah, it's just it's a heavy arrow, so it's a great arrow for hunting, but like for attack style events, it's not ideal for it. Also for hunting too, like with the 5.0, with it being so much lighter, you can actually put more of that weight into your insert system or your field pointer broadhead, so that way you're going to increase your front of center weight. So it's going to help you in the long run for giving you that punch. If you're going to go for elk or caribou or something like that, you know, the bigger game, it's just going to help you in the long run. I
agree, and that's the great thing about with the 5.0 is you have a little bit more play when it comes to building your arrows, right? If you want something lightweight that you can shoot, you get more speed out of your bow, you can do that with the 5.0. Or if you want to add more weight to that shaft, you have the ability to increase that FOC on the arrow without making that arrow overly heavy, right? To really hit the same FOC numbers with the Axis 5mm, you're gonna have to add a lot of point weight to it, and that arrow is gonna be extremely heavy.
Right.
You can get a greater FOC at an overall lighter weight arrow with the 5.0. That's the great thing about it, and I think that's why there was such a high demand for that particular arrow shaft.
Right. To be honest, it's a really great competitor to the RIP TKO.
Absolutely, I would agree. So from there, like when it comes to which one should I shoot, again, we need to look at what your goals are, what you're doing. If you're just looking to do maybe some hunting, especially eastern whitetail, and you're looking for heavy, just overall heavy arrow, durability and whatnot, the Axis 5mm may be the better option for you. But again, if you're looking for maybe an arrow to do everything, or you're more focused on maybe FOC, that's the highlight for you, or you're looking for, you know, something that you can overall run a 5mm shaft at a lower overall weight, the 5.0 would probably be the better option for you.
Absolutely.
So when we look at it now, we move into kind of the pros and cons of each, right? And we'll start with the pros of the Axis 5mm. We've already hit on it. Durability. I don't think there's a more durable shaft on the market. I just don't.
I agree more. I couldn't agree more.
It's just, I mean, it's built like a tank. I mean, it's
is.
the best way to describe that arrow. But when it comes to the cons of that, that's the same thing. It's heavy.
Right.
Overall GPI is extremely heavy per inch. So you just have an overall heavy arrow build, which for some people, that's not an issue at all. They want to run 5, 6, we know guys running 700 grain arrows.
Yep.
And you know, if you're doing maybe some really large game and you want something that's just extremely heavy and you want to add weight to it, that's a great option for you. When we look at pros of the 5.0, lower GPI, right?
Yep. Saving you some weight on the overall arrow.
I agree. That's the big thing about it. You have the ability to stack weight where you want to stack the weight and build, and you have more freedom to build that arrow to do exactly what you want to do. Again, whether you want something light and fast or you want that higher FOC. But when it comes to cons, one of the big concerns or one of the things that we have heard is, are they brittle? Are they going to break easier? And I'll be honest, I have not seen that issue yet. I shot these at TAC. They performed extremely well. I had no issues whatsoever. They were very reliable.
Yes, I ran the same thing at TAC. I did have one arrow that it hit weird in a target. It did bend my insert, which I have right here. But that's the only thing that happened to it. It only bent the actual half out. From what I can tell, everything is still fine on the actual arrow shaft itself. So is it going to be as durable as the Axis 5.0? Probably not, but it's still plenty durable. And I was shooting 74 pounds, I think, at 30 inches, and this was a 440 grain arrow. So it's not super heavy, but I've got the FOC where I need it, and it, like I said, it performed phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Talking about overall build, so these are my Axis 5 mils, and these I shot out of my Mach 30 for the last 2 years. They've got the standard insert in them. So the standard insert in them, they're pre-fletched with the AE hybrid. I'm running 100 grains up front. The total arrow weight for these, I believe, was right at 440, 445 grains. This is my Easton 5.0. This is, again, both of these are 300 spines. This one's cut a little bit short at 27.5 inches, but this has 50 grains of brass up front in it, and it's got a 100 grain point on it. And the overall weight for this particular shaft was right at 418 grains. So big difference in overall weight, and I've got way more FOC in this with that brass up front. So 150 grains up front versus 116 grains up front. So you can see there's quite a big difference there. So which should you go with? Again, it's really dependent. It's really up to the individual. Wouldn't you agree? Look at your goals with your arrow and figure out what application you're chasing, right? Going to shoot just total archery events, you're going to hunt, you're hunting big game. Really let that help guide your decision on which one you want to go with. From there, let us know. I mean, I'm very curious as to one, what your guys' thoughts are on the new Easton 5.0, and then which one you would opt for, what arrow you're currently running. The 5.0 has been incredibly high demand this year.
It has been.
Like ridiculously high demand. We finally got a bunch in, and I can assure we've got a bajillion of them. So if you need 5.0s, we've got them in stock, both bare shafts and pre-fletched, as well as your Axis 5 mil. So whichever direction you want to go, we've got them both. And if you have questions on or concerns about what arrow you should go with, how you should build them, you can always reach out to us here at the shop at Extreme Outfitters. Give us a call, shoot us an email, drop us a message or a comment, and we'd be happy to help you out. So as always, we appreciate you guys following along. Drop some comments. Let us know, again, which arrow you would opt for based off your needs.
Don't forget, guys, we also offer free cut and glue on all of our arrows, and you can buy them individually as well. So if you want to buy just a couple to test them out, grab a couple.
That's it. So as always, we appreciate you guys. Head to the website, extremeoutfitters.com, for all of your archery needs, and we will see you guys in the next video.